I'm coming. My camera does not work today, so that's cool.
I've been having issues with mine. Can you hear me, first of all?
Yeah,
Okay, had the dread of doing a Teams meeting this morning with a vendor, and nothing was working, so, but
amazing.
there we go. So I'll be talking to a black screen today, that's fine.
Yeah, sorry. It's gonna require a restart, which I don't think we have time for right now, so
We
that
don't have
feels
time for
scary to me.
that. Oh my gosh. I had to do a restart on Friday for my work computer. It was like a big Mac OS update, and that thing took over an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Like, is security really that important? I don't care. I
For
just want
those
to
of
do.
you who are already here, did you guys already create your Einstein AI playgrounds in the badge? Just because it takes a minute, so we can get started with that. I Oh, Leslie, cool. Okay, so at the very top, you'll have to check a box saying you can receive email, and then they'll spin up an instance for you, and it has all the test data and permissions that we need and whatnot. I so
That is this guy right
I
here, just so y'all know. There we
Yes, that thing. I waited too long to do my password
go.
reset, and so I had to create a whole new Trailhead account this morning just so that I could go through this today.
No. Oh,
Yeah, it was super fun.
God.
That's okay,
Oh.
disposable.
Well, I got an email the other day that one of my favorite dev orgs, they're trying to, you know how they tell you, hey, this hasn't been used in 180 days. We're gonna kill it. I'm like, you cannot kill my oldest dev org. How dare you? That
Just
we
log
have
into
history
it.
together. I know. I obviously did and saved it. But I'm like, don't you know it's sentimental history with me? Jesus.
That's funny. Well, it's interesting about these Einstein AI playgrounds. So I spun this one up this morning and it says it expires tomorrow at 5 p.m. So they're only giving you a day to use it, which I thought was interesting.
Foxy, damn it, we're talking. Foxy, who's ever at the door, it's not a threat to you or your human.
Oh my gosh, it's the landscaper who's right outside my window now. So that's exciting. Can you hear that? Can you hear the lawnmower? Hopefully
Yes,
it's
yeah,
not. Oh,
yeah.
great.
It's not that bad. You just sound a little grainy.
I think we just made eye contact. My window's open. So that was fun.
Yeah, they're being really protective of their AI. Yeah, mine expires. Yeah, it is a day. You get a day with the AI playground, and then
Well,
it gives you a list of like, hey, by the way, finish these other 4 badges in time, otherwise you're SOL.
well, I was wondering if maybe it was that short because they're making like so many active changes to AI, like every day they're implementing new stuff. And so maybe it just changes that fast. I don't know. Or maybe they're just being stingy. I'm not sure.
It's giving stingy vibes, but I'll pretend to play along with your positive attitude, like it's
Thank
sure. Uh,
For those of you who just logged in, I put a link to the Trailhead module that we're going to be doing in the chat. And at the very top of that, there's a place to spin up your Einstein AI playground. And so we'll need that to, I mean, if you're going to do it along with us, you'll need that to play with. And it'll just take a couple minutes to spin that up and get you into it. So here comes the long day again.
and then I'm going to test something as well. So as is typical with the walking through Trailhead, sometimes we can hit problems that we then find ourselves on Reddit or Discord or just Googling, like, why am I not able to pass this badge? So this, I'm testing to see if Canva lets me share this. Hang on. Copy link. let's see. I want to share with you guys a link to a troubleshooting slide deck that we can toggle back and forth during this call, but I think it would also help if you guys could view it, and because it has screenshots of what the screens are supposed to look like throughout this badge. So I'm just going to share that with you guys immediately. Kristi will obviously be walking us through this, but if you are encountering an issue, hopefully this slide deck can help. Also, it's the first time I've used a public link through Canva, so if you are clicking on it and get nowhere, well, then I know that public links don't work, and we will just toggle back and forth.
So exciting.
I know.
Oh, thanks, Katie. Katie says it works.
Nice. Okay, perfect. So yeah, each of those screenshots within that slide deck basically follows what Kristi's going to take us through, and it gives you the exact look of what your screen should be looking for, or in some cases, especially with the prompt builder, I feel like the save buttons are not in intuitive places. So that's what this slide deck is for, just in case. Oh yes, we will get there, Catherine, don't you worry.
Sorry, I just kind of started talking, huh?
I know, we're just trying to set people up for what we're about to do. Especially with Trailhead, if you have to refresh a new sandbox, you know, Trailhead will be like, it takes only 3 minutes. And then in these kinds of scenarios, it takes like 17.
Right. This is our first time doing a live like trail together thing too. I'm excited. I wish my camera was working, but I would love to do more of these. So.
I wonder if I could draw on the screen and just annotate your face. No, I can't. Damn. That's cool.
A stick figure.
A little
Okay,
stick
let's
figure.
wait 1 more minute till 5 past, and then we'll get started. And we'll kick off for realsies. If you just joined, though, there is a link to the Trailhead module that we're going to be doing together. And at the top of that module is a place to spin up the Einstein AI playground. So if you want to start that process, it just takes a few minutes to get you in there first.
All right, Kristi, we're at the top. We're at 12:05.
Woohoo! All right, well, let's be official then. So, welcome to the San Diego User Group 2025 edition. Yay, we made it. We were all sick and busy in December, so it's been a month since we met. So excited to be here. I'm Kristi Brown. Sorry again that you can't see my face, but Tracie and I have been doing this group since the COVID times. Which feels like a long time now, actually. Kind of. I am a Salesforce architect. I'm a consultant. I work for Slalom. I feel like I don't recognize a lot of you guys, so I'll give you the rundown of me, like my bragging rights and stuff. So been in the ecosystem for, I don't know, 12, 13 years now. I am a Salesforce MVP and a Tableau ambassador. I have 26 certifications, if that even is cool anymore. And I'm just like all around Salesforce nerd fangirl. So always excited to help people learn and get going with new skills. And I especially have been loving Prompt Builder and learning how to use it and just use it in my first Slalom project with a real company. So excited to share that experience as we get going here.
Lovely intro, Kristi. Love to hear it all the time. Last time you did an intro, you were at 23 badges, or 23 certifications, so you've upped your game.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, right?
It was the AI specialist was one of them. So
perfect. Well, everybody here's going to get that cert here shortly, and that's why we're doing this kind of project today. Hi everyone, I am Tracie Hart. I'm the co-leader of this user group. Kristi and I have known each other for years. When I interviewed for the company that we first worked at together, it was a very informal interview in which I walked in, Kristi sat down, stared at me and goes, "Why aren't you going to take the job?" So that's basically how our professional and personal relationship started. And good things have come from it. I am an accidental admin, been in the ecosystem for 10 years. I think I have 5 certifications. I have not been paying attention. But I manage a systems team for a company called Cockroach Labs. Yes, that's a really strange company name, and yes, I applied for the job because the name made me laugh. But, ooh, Kristi, I think I can hear you typing.
Sorry.
You're all good. But yeah, I manage a systems team there, and yeah, I think Kristi and I just have a shared passion of everything about Salesforce and how it changed our career trajectories. And so that is why this group is especially important to us, and why we meet virtually on a monthly basis and in person on a quarterly basis. And yeah, I think that's my spiel. Kristi, do you want to introduce what we are doing today?
Yes, we are getting started with Prompt Builder. It's a pretty fast project, but I got my AI specialist certification last year towards the end of the year, and a big part of the test is Prompt Builder and different prompt templates and how to pull data into them to give more context to what you're asking the language model to give you. So I think this will be a great just kind of intro into how to enable it, how to do stuff in it, and create our first generated fields, which is really exciting. So yeah, that's what we're doing. If you just joined, there is a link in the chat somewhere, and I will drop it in here again. Deborah, from your settings in Salesforce, like if in the upper right, if you click on your face or where your face would be and go to settings. So if you guys are enabling your Einstein, I can't speak now, AI playground, and let me start sharing my screen. That would probably be helpful, right? That's crazy. The screen. Cool. So if you go to this module up here at the top, you'll have like a little checkbox that says, I can accept email. And if that's true, it will create an org for you and send you the information. So Deborah mentioned that she wasn't able to connect back to Trailhead.
Wait,
So when I
Kristi,
went, oh
sorry,
yeah, go.
for a second. We're recording, just confirming.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
When I was doing this morning, when I went back into Trailhead to connect, it'll have a button here that says connect. I logged in with the credentials that I set up and it wouldn't ever log me in. So I went to my just personal settings here and changed my password. Why that was needed, I don't know. I also had to do it in Classic because I'm in an incognito window. But then I was able to get it connected. So I don't know if y'all have to go through those hoops. Hopefully not. But you guys want to give me like some thumbs up or something if everybody is good to start, or if people are still waiting on emails.
Or if
Cool.
you're struggling, I'm here, and I will be DMing you guys to troubleshoot as we go through this.
Cool. Okay, so I guess just a little introduction to Prompt Builder before we get into the meat of it. Prompt Builder is really Salesforce's answer to how anybody can input prompts and get generated responses back from a large language model. It's really easy to use. In this example that we're going to be doing today, we're going to be summarizing a case, which I think is probably applicable for most companies and admins. So I think it's a good example. And then once we're done with that, we can maybe play around and do some other stuff. I thought maybe we could also show how to pull in context using a flow as well, because I feel like that'll be a pretty common use case, or at least it was for me in this project that I just had to do, which maybe I'll tell you a little about too. So working with a company right now to pull their customer success team into Salesforce. They were using Gainsight before. And so we're using Prompt Builder to summarize account plans. We started using the new Salesforce account plan feature, which I'd love to talk about at user group next month because it's pretty cool. and also summarize accounts and then a couple other objects that'll helpful for them, just because there's a lot of people touching accounts, and so to have to review 50 objects each time you look at it is tedious and not a good use of anybody's time. So being able to have these generated fields is really helpful for everybody, even if you look at it every day. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get into it. So first thing we're going to do is jump into setup, and we need to go to Einstein setup under this Einstein generative AI feature here, and we need to turn it on. And all you have to do is toggle this, and now Einstein is on. Ta-da! We're done. So exciting.
I will say for slower computers, mine included, do a browser refresh after you've toggled it on, just to be sure it sticks.
And we have to do that anyways to get our new items to show up in our setup menu here. So Einstein is now on. And now if we search for prompt, we have prompt builder as a new option here for us, which is awesome. And on this page, very similar, of course, to all feature pages in the setup menu now, it's got some knowledge share up top here. So taking a tour. This is all of the help articles and documentation, and then a little video that we're not going to watch, but you could if you wanted to. We're just going to come up here and click new prompt template. And there's lots of different prompt templates that you can choose from. We have field generation, we have flex, which you can use for anything, and then record summary, which is very specific to just summarizing records. We're going to be putting this into an actual field on a record, so we're going to do field generation. And Leslie, I noticed you said you don't have prompt builder after turning it on. Did you refresh your browser? Again, oh my God.
Yeah, I did that like 2 times before I pinged, but it just finally caught up. A little slow.
Crazy.
Thank you.
Good.
I will
I'm glad
find
it's working now.
there's another step in this process where I actually had to wait like 7 or 8 minutes and then refresh before it worked in my org. So I think we're gonna endure that a couple places.
Thanks, Salesforce. Okay, since we're doing the badge, I'm going to jump back over here to get what we're actually naming this. So we're naming this quick summary. And if you are actually working on the badge and anywhere in Trailhead, I recommend always copying and pasting from the module, because otherwise you'll add a space and it'll fail the test. And so we're going to do that. And then we are going to be selecting the case object because that's what we want to summarize here. Case. Oh, I turned on caps lock and can't spell, so that's good. And you'll notice, just I've been looking at this list, you can use this on pretty much every object that you have available to you, which is really cool. It's not just for standard objects, which is great. And then to the right here, we need to actually pick the field. So when you do field generation, it's going to apply it to one field and one field only, which I thought was a little odd because it's not reusable, which I hope that they update eventually. But you could also choose, instead of field generation prompt template, you could use a flex template or a record summary template that could be used in more places potentially. But we're following the directions here. So we're going to apply this to our quick summary that the Salesforce admin team created for us. Thank you. And then we're taking...
At the end of the call, sorry to interrupt you, Kristi, but save any questions. Like we're doing the most basic thing for this trail, which makes sense because that's the trailhead vibe. But if any of this triggers any questions for you guys, save those to the end, because I know in particular, I want to talk about flex fields, but I don't want to steamroll this conversation. But save those questions because this is so basic. It's leaving a lot unsaid.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it is a quick look badge, so but I think it does a great job of getting you into this workspace and playing around. I don't know about you guys, but like whenever I'm doing a module, I continue to play. I don't just stop when it says stop. So So let's do a quick tour here. So up top here, this is where we have our list of resources that we can add as context. So you can see we can add flows, you could add Apex actions, you could add information about the organization, the current user, or the case, the object that we're tied to here from our initial creation of this prompt. And this is just a reminder that you're looking at case and then this quick summary field. The save button is up here on the right where I would find it. Tracie says that's not a good place for it, but
No. I'm talking about down below for the related record and the save and preview. That is not intuitive.
Oh, this, yeah, that's kind of weird.
Thank you.
On the right here in this configuration panel, this is where you can change the model type, and you've got a bunch to play with. I haven't gone through each one of these and tested them yet to see like how it changes the response based on the model you're using. But I think that that would be a fun test to do and pick like which one is better for your use case. We're just going to leave it where it is, but there's lots of options here, so lots of opportunity for fooling around, I think. And then you've got your allowed response languages here. These are all selected by default. Obviously, if your org is like English only, I think that you could probably deselect all of those and just have English only. But it is great that this supports all of these different languages, I think. Here in this text box is where you actually put your prompt instructions. So we'll get to that in a minute, of course. And then down at the bottom of here, we have our preview. So once we enter instructions, we'll be able to put in a related record and actually test this out and see what the response looks like. So let's go back to our trail here, and it wants us to copy this and paste it in. And something that, I mean, Salesforce has been doing, with which I found really helpful, is to, and it's kind of like writing pseudocode. Like I'm writing out all the instructions that I want it to do, and I'm going to put some things in all caps to remind me that I need to add more context there. And in this case, we're going to be pulling in information from the record to kind of like assign these as a variable. But I found that it's really helpful to write that out first before you start adding information. Okay. Oh, this says it wants us to use OpenAI GPT-4. So let's update that. I don't know if that'll be in the test at the end. All right, the first thing we're going to do is insert our priority, which is right here. So I said these are like placeholders for data. These are like flow variables, if you will, where you're going to assign values to them. So we're going to come up here to our resource. And since we want the priority field, which is a field on case, we're just going to jump into our object here and find priority. And you'll see that it's put this variable here for me, input case dot priority, and then we can delete this placeholder. So now in our resolution here, like when it's the actual data, it's going to say the case priority, which is medium or whatever it is, instead of this mumbo jumbo. Easy enough. Now we're going to do case comments, which is actually a related list. So we're going to click cases here again. We're going to go down to our related lists here, and we've got case comments. So if there were other things related to our case, we would have those related lists here as well. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was first reviewing this module, I thought it was super weird that they're using case comments in their example, because I don't know a lot of companies who even use case comments anymore. Everybody has switched to using chatter. So it was interesting that they're using this. I mean, I know it's still a feature, and it's obviously there and useful, but if you'll notice, like if you are using chatter, that's not an option here because that's not how Chatter is related to objects. So if you are using Chatter, and we can show this at the end, you would need to pull in those comments with a flow or something instead and have that available here. All right, we've got our case comments, and then we're going to do subject and case type. So again, we're going to go to case. We're going to find our subject. Did I pass it? Subject, where are you? Cool. And then type. Case type. All right, so now our full instructions here are, hey, I want you to concatenate all of these things and write me a summary about it. And I want you to keep it to a single short paragraph, which
I will say this is an area where, you know, we kind of go into autopilot when we're doing these quick start projects. But if you read the prompt, that's not even how I speak to ChatGPT. And it does say in this to be like, hey, your prompts will take practice. And I am very much hoping that this is not what Salesforce expects me to be writing like in the future. I'm going to write like I talk to ChatGPT, and I'm hoping that is an acceptable way forward, because this is the most robotic prompt I've ever seen, and we're talking to, you know, a bunch of servers. I can't be a robot when I'm talking to a robot. Does that make sense?
it totally makes sense. Yeah, I thought the instructions that they put here, like summarize the concatenation, that kind of caught me off guard too in the beginning, because I would say, and it's also not introducing the concept of like persona, right? Like you would always want to give it a persona, like you are a technical support agent at company X. You need a short summary of this case so you can do XYZ or something. Here's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
information you can use. So yeah, I think prompt generation, writing, whatever you want to call it, is like an art all its own. I will say that in this project that I've been working on, I probably had 10 different versions of each of my prompts because I kept refining them as I got data back and saw what it was generating. So, okay, I'm going to click save up here. Template saved. And now we can preview what we have, and it wanted us to preview 1002, which is a thing. Awesome. And if you wanted to preview it in a different language, you could, I suppose. I've never tried to because I speak English, so but it would be fun to see what it comes up with. So let's look at the left side here. So this is our instructions with the included context. So of course, summarize the concatenation of the contents, which is weird. And it has our whole case comments in a JSON list here. So all of these different groupings are different case comments that it's pulled into this list for us. So it's like a flow collection, essentially, that it created for us. And then after that, it has our subject seeking guidance on electrical wiring installation, the case priority, which is low, and the case type, which is electrical. So you'll see those are all of the different inputs that we've added here, and then keep the response to a single short paragraph. And so this is what it came up with. And I'd be interested, does everybody say this same thing? Or are they different? Catherine, what does yours say? Interesting. I think that's really cool. I also think it's important because even as we're testing these things, the next time we ask it, it could come up with something different or summarize it in a different way. And for each person who uses this, that is probably also true. So I don't know if it's like a trust conversation that you have with your end users. Like if Tracie and I are sitting next to each other and we both edit this field and have a different generated response, am I going to say, well, why is yours different? Yours is wrong or something because it doesn't look exactly the same as mine. So I think it's a good conversation to have. I think at this point, most people have used ChatGPT or Gemini or something enough that they like understand the concept of generated content, but maybe they don't. I don't know. And seeing it in your Salesforce instance in a field maybe hits different than having a conversation with ChatGPT. So
I do have another question with this for you, Kristi, just based on, you have a live project that you've played with this and you had 10
yeah.
different versions of the same prompt. When I'm playing with ChatGPT, it can be wordy. So I usually say within my prompt, hey, give me this answer in 2 sentences and then provide bullet points for the rest of the summarization.
Yep.
Is that something that can be done here as well? Or is that would bulleting throw this model off completely? Would asking such a prompt throw off this prompt builder?
Nope, you can add bullets and you can add headings. So like I've had like in my account summary, account summary summarization, I've asked it to always provide information under these like 5 or 6 different headings. That way, even though the generated content might be different from each account, of course, the structure of that generated content will remain standardized across all accounts for everybody. So it makes a little bit more sense because I think if you had a generated field that is always something different with different headings or some have bullet points, different formatting, it would get really confusing for people, I think. So providing that structure, I think helps from an end user experience as well.
Yeah, for sure. And it's good to know that that's possible because even looking at these prompts, which are these responses, which is all very close, it's 3 sentences, which is essentially a paragraph, which means my reps are not going to read this. I need it in a form that's a little bit more clear.
Yeah. And like, honestly, in a real use case, would you have it regenerate the subject priority and case type? No, because they already see those in fields right above this, right? So, I mean, again, a weird example. I would expect, though, that you would want it to summarize all of the case comments for you, like,
Yeah,
hey,
that
what's
sounds
been
cool.
going on with this case without me having to read through that history. Um, so that makes sense. So, like, this part is the most useful part, right? And that's short enough where somebody can read it. Okay, so let's go ahead and activate this guy. And when you activate it, it like resaves it for you too. And then I think it's time to go put it on our page, which is fun. So we're going to go to Object Manager and find our case.
Oh, you're
And
breaking with tradition of how this trail asked you to do it. Damn.
oh, sorry. Did it say a different way?
It asked you to do it through the UI. So go back to the sales app, click on the case that we just referenced, and then
Okay.
go to the rec page from there.
Sorry. I'll do it.
Both ways work. Both ways work. I just wanted to tease.
Just being a hater. All
Basically,
right.
yes, that is my role in this call.
Cases. So we'll still keep with our 1002 here. All right. So we will edit our page. Thank you for telling me. So we'll need to update this to a dynamic form. So generated field or assigning AI to a field can only be done on a field in a dynamic form. So we're just going to click upgrade now. Don't want to see you. Just going to select
It's
case.
case
Is
layout.
that what they want us to do? Okay.
Yep.
Do we leave the rest of this the same? I stopped looking at the Trailhead.
Yes, this is where you select the prompt summary and put in the prompt template. Yep.
Perfect. So we'll click on the field that we want, our quick summary, and remember you have to use the one that you specified in our prompt template. And then when we click into here, you'll see a list of all of your field generation templates here, or you can create a new one if you didn't do that already. And that's it. Now it's ready for action. And you'll notice that now instead of a normal pencil, we have a pencil with like a little star on top of it. And that's really the only way, and let's save this. That's the only way your end users kind of know that this has AI applied to it as well. And let's activate it. Tracie, do they want us to make org
Yes,
default?
it should be the org-wide default. Yep.
That's faster. Fantastic. Cool. And I always hit save again after I activate just because I don't know. I always just hit save everywhere all the time.
Now you did speed through that part, so I just want to check in the chat. Is everybody so
I'm
far?
sorry.
You work with a swiftness that can be intimidating at times, Kristi.
I'm sorry. I am very swift. Okay.
All right, we're good.
All right. So back on our normal case layout here, you'll see we can still see that little pencil. So the way that you actually interact with this prompt template is like you're editing any other field, except for that when we click edit, you see we've got these little stars over on the right here. And if we click that, that's what's going to pop up Einstein, which I think is cool and obnoxious.
Yeah, it's
I don't know how I
not
feel about it yet.
intuitive. I'm clicking on the edits and then clicking stars to indicate I want an Einstein generated response doesn't make sense to me just yet. This is also the part where it took my org about 7 or 8 minutes of me just stepping away for a second. I think I did 3 refreshes before it actually populated something in the here's what I came up with section.
Oh, interesting. I have noticed that occasionally I'll get like an error, and it's super generic, like an error occurred, go contact your administrator or something. But then if I do it again, it's fine. So I'm actually still diagnosing what's going on there. But it does seem to be just a little buggy. So, but you'll see that, I mean, you don't see the prompt that it gave, which I think is another thing that I would want my end users to see, maybe like, what am I already asking this, instead of just saying, here you go, but maybe they don't need to see it either. But it is using the prompt in the background that we gave it, and it's coming up with this. If we click use, you'll see that it inserted that here for me, and I can just save this as is. You can also interact with it a little bit. Like we could say, make this longer with more detail. And it makes it longer for you.
Oh, did that firstly and then currently? Jesus.
So you could interact with this a little bit to add more context to the prompts to get a longer or shorter or different. Like you could ask it to be more professional.
I was going to say this response has taken a few. The team is eagerly awaiting. I wouldn't say nobody usually is eagerly awaiting.
Oh, now we have initially and at present. So that's fun. But you can interact with this a little bit to get it to a point that you would actually like use this in your field. And then since this is a field generated response and we're just inserting text into this field, I think it's probably still valuable for, you know, the agent to, if something was missing from that, be able to add their own context to this before they hit save. And I think that that's a really valuable part of kind of this manual AI field generation, is being able to add my own context on top of whatever AI generated for me.
Is there anything that can be added? Would an additional flow need to be created to reference the fact that this field has been filled by an AI generated prompt by this person at this time. Like, because I feel like that would be crucially important as well, to be like, oh, this wasn't Gary just going off on a tangent. This was actually based on, this was a response done by Prompt Builder.
Yeah, so for the person and whatnot, I would say that, yeah, you would probably need to add fields for that. But something that I've been thinking about is using one of these awesome new conditional formatting. So if we had a field that we're filling that says the last time this field was updated, we could add conditional formatting to this. Ignore my spelling, where it's like a loading spinner or something. If the, I'm just gonna pick a, is there a date somewhere? Well, okay, if something is greater than something, you know, maybe we have a spinner here that's yellow, and that tells us that, hey, this hasn't been regenerated in a while or something. So I think giving context like that, and I feel like that this case, let's just close the case and see what it looks like. Also, I love the new conditional formatting on dynamic forms. I've used it in so many places already. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I've used it in hundreds of places. We do also have a question from Sienna. If the quick summary field, so the quick summary field remains blank unless we run Einstein on that.
Correct. Yeah. So it's going to be blank until someone goes and clicks this and generates something. And then once you do that, I mean, the value is saved in the field. It'll stay there. But yeah, you have to do it that first time at least.
And then
Now,
let's say, oh, I'm so sorry.
I
Go
was
for
just
it.
going to say, I have not played with it yet, but I do believe that you could automatically call that prompt and insert a value here through a flow. And I don't want to say too much about it, but I think that's possible. I haven't done it yet. So maybe that's a follow-up session to get into the flows. But yeah, at least right now it's manual.
And then how does it work when, like, okay, we did the quick summary for today on January 15th. January 21st comes around, more has changed on that case. We go back to the stars and we ask for the summary again. Does it overwrite what was already populated there, or does it add to it?
So I think at its core, it would overwrite it. If you click that use button, it would overwrite it, or you could just copy and paste and like append it to the top or bottom. If you did not want to overwrite it, like I could just copy this.
Oh, I see. Okay. So this is still a very, very, very fresh technology here.
Yeah,
We got some areas of improvement.
didn't paste it, but yeah, and I think that's where the flow actions come in. And I'm sad now that I haven't tried it yet, but I think maybe Tracie, that is a follow-up for next month. To like take this one step further, and how do we then automate it? I
Yeah.
agree. And something that I've been thinking out in my current project, like if, especially if I'm a manager or an executive and I'm coming to review this, I don't want to have to go through that to get the summary, right? So there are also different types of summaries that come with different product SKUs, of course. So there is like a component that you could put on an object. It has that summarization prompt type. It's the only one that it takes. And all you have to do is like click the button, like summarize, and then it'll summarize for you. And it's fresh every single time. So they do have those things. I think that with the field generation, I think that the value of these is so that you can add your own context to it. And I think it's also that generation is so new and maybe people are not sure about it and they do want someone to look at it first, which could be, I don't know, good or just waste more time. I don't know.
Yeah. We do have a question from Faye regarding that overlay. Is that just towards that particular record, or can she ask a question like, what are the number of cases that are currently in a low priority status?
Yeah, that's a good question, Faye. So this field generation prompt template is just going to be for this. Like you'll notice that Einstein already went away here. We can try asking it that, but I think what would power that is more the like having an agent set up through the agent force stuff that you could interact with all the time and just ask it questions. What are the number of records with low priority? And I feel like we've only given context about this one case because that's what we're inputting as context. So I think that's what it would say. But yeah, for some reason it doesn't recognize my org.
Leslie, I had that same problem too. So when I went to launch my org, it basically was like, hey, I don't see it, it's not connected. I had to go back and connect my playground through Trailhead. And then I relaunched it again, and then I was able to verify.
Yeah, I tried to do that. I tried to connect, but then it's giving me an error saying I don't have a dev org. But I walked through the steps with you ladies. So I'm not sure why I'm getting this Houston, we have a problem.
Oh no, you got a Houston one? Oh shoot.
Yeah.
That's real. And did you pushed the connect button up here?
I did. I used the link
Okay.
that you originally sent.
Yeah.
Connected. I walked through it and it says, can I share my screen?
Yeah, let me stop sharing.
Okay. Share screen. Hold on.
Everybody else, we have gone through the trail
There you
enough
go.
for you to verify the step to collect this badge. So go forward and do that as well.
Collect.
So here's my org that I walked through, right? So I did all of my
Okay.
quick steps. I did this. And then when I tried to verify, it gave me that issue. And then I tried to connect, it's saying this. But there was
All
somewhere
we
in here.
see is the Salesforce case. I don't know if you need to share your window instead of
Oh,
a tab, maybe.
yeah.
But she
Sorry.
may have work tabs on there.
We use how do I do this? Entire screen?
Yes,
Entire
Bevy as a
what?
platform is a nightmare. Full stop. Yes, you would want
Yeah.
to say show entire screen.
Okay. I have multiple screens, so we'll see if this one works.
Let's see what's on each one.
Okay. Oh, I can see what you can see now. Okay. So I created my prompt. It's
Mm-hmm.
active. I hear updated dynamic. I have my quick summary. So then I went to validate and it said it wasn't connected. And then it said connect org. And I went here and then I have this. And I believe when I click on this, it asks me to log back in. And it keeps just kind of bringing me right back through that same, I guess, loop.
So can we go back to the org that you're in and go to click on your avatar? And then
I think instead of using the custom domain, just put your username.
Copy and paste that username, the A35, that one.
This one here. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Let me try because I did try that as well. 835. I don't think it's. Hold on. I'll make sure it's not test.
It's also
Yeah, no
interesting
test.
that that's your username because mine was weird. Like
That's my
farm.
my work org. I mean, we have single sign-on, but yeah. See, it's not letting me in. So I always go to.
Sorry, so the org that you did this in, was it the Einstein AI Playground or it's like a sandbox from your work?
No, it's I clicked on the link that you sent earlier because I did not do that, and I signed in through my custom domain, and it brought up this org farm. But also when I look, let me pull up Trailhead again. This org farm here. So I don't know. log in with this username. So maybe I should log in with that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's try that. And oh, maybe that's it.
Perfect. And then hit yes, save it.
Okay. Now
Now you should be able to do the
validate.
challenge at the bottom.
Oh, do the
Yeah.
challenge. Okay.
Yeah, click validate or whatever, and then hopefully confetti.
Yeah, hit verify. Let's see.
Let's see. Fingers crossed. Drum roll, please.
It is taking a long time, which in my history is always a good
Oh,
thing.
confetti. Gosh, it's thinking so hard about it.
There we go. Yay. Perfect. Thank you.
Faye, I agree that the prompt is the most intimidating part. And I told you I've had like 10 different iterations of all of mine. There is like an Einstein prompt generation like cookbook in the help documentation somewhere where they had a bunch of examples, but I didn't actually find them super helpful. At one point, I even went to ChatGPT and was like, what would be a good AI prompt generation for this scenario? And like that helped a little, but it felt weird that I was asking AI to generate an AI prompt for me. But I think it's really about just testing and using that like resolution section at the bottom of the screen to see what it actually turns into after you have all the context in there, and does it still make sense? And I think it's really about iteration. I think it's kind of like in analytics, it's like reports and dashboards. Like, is it ever going to be perfect? Is it ever going to be done? Or do we just keep iterating on it forever and ever?
With that being said, we are getting to the top of the hour here. So hopefully you guys have completed this badge, and we are on our way to having 21 attendees get the AI specialist certification. We will be doing these, we're kind of doing a different format as we head into the next year, where we're going to have not only Trail Together as a consistent topic, volunteering as a consistent topic, how I did it as a consistent monthly topic, just so you guys can know the cadence and what to expect from us each month. But yeah, that's our goals for 2025 with this group. Kristi, anything you want to add?
No, I guess that's it. I don't think we have time to really jump into flow at all. So next time I think we'll just take this a little bit further, and we can even use the same prompts, not the same org though, because they all expire tomorrow. But we'll add more context via flow and try some different use cases. And I think that that'll be valuable for everybody, even for me, just working on these projects, to play with it more and get other perspectives. So.
Cool. With that, thank you for spending your lunch with us today. Post in our group if you get your AI certification, so we can start to see that coming through. It's free, guys. Let's do it.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.